Good evening. This is Pineleaf Niels, and welcome to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. Tonight we have with us Andang,
Hey everybody and hello chat room.
Ethelros,
Hello.
Brax,
Hello, everybody.
and joining us for the first time, Draculetta.
Hello, everybody.
Tonight, as you can guess from the words of Andang, we are on a live chat room for the first time, so welcome everyone in the chat room
Yeah, and
to
let's go
our
ahead and
production.
do a shout out to Flossin and Blue Bonnet and Lillicate for joining us in the chat tonight. That's awesome. And if you want to join us, you can go to lotrplayers.com/live and join us with all the instructions that are there.
Very well. Welcome everyone. And now for the news in Lotro. More specifically, we'll start with Helm's Deep. This week we had a overview of the story from Helm's Deep, and this was done at a special news conference which I believe Andang participated in, so perhaps you could take this section.
Yeah, so myself and Schurz got invited to a Helm's Deep overview for the story, actually going and talking about the epic story key points. There were a few interesting things. The first thing was they actually showed us Helm's Deep right before the orcs started to show up, and it was them starting to do battle preparations because they knew that the orcs were coming. And they actually went off the wall and started walking towards the dike. And the distance is just breathtaking. The amount of time that it took him, like he didn't even get to the wall. He just started walking, and it just took forever. And it's just amazing. And when you look out, you can see how that area could be just completely filled with orcs, and it's just amazing. Definitely one of the biggest places in Lotro. By far, like it blows everything else away. Just the grandeur and scale of this place. And they did also show small spoiler alert if you haven't read the books. They showed Gandalf transforming into Gandalf the White in front of Theoden and knocking out Grima Wormtongue. And he stayed knocked out for quite a long time, and so. That was definitely a cool moment. Another thing is that they're actually, in some way, they'll be including the 13th king of Rohan into this, and what he's known for is actually getting rid of all the orcs from Rohan. I think he's like 3 or 4 kings before Theoden, and so you see Theoden basically causing the entire all the lands of Rohan to fall almost. It gets very close, and to see that kind of difference between the two, I think will be really interesting, for sure. And then they also told us a lot of smaller things, like for example, the entire epic story is you have to pay for. It's not just the part with the big battles. That was something that people weren't too sure about, and. Let's see, there was also housing is still planned for this year. There's going to be some type of mystery with Rohan. They are definitely looking into GLFF. To mention that to just the general press means that they really are looking into it. There's also new music in this expansion, not done by Chance Thomas, though. Yeah, what do you guys think on that, dude? Are you glad that we're getting good music, or new music, I mean, or... is it not the same if Chance Thomas doesn't do it and you don't want the music?
Yeah, I personally just don't think it's going to be the same if Chance Thomas is not involved with it.
Okay.
I mean, you think Rohan music and you think Chance Thomas, after the Riders of Rohan soundtrack.
Right. I'm sure they're still going to include a lot of his songs in the area, but they're going to work in other ones for like the Battle of Helm's Deep or something like that would be my guess.
We've got to see how they're going to manage to do epic music. Because let's face it, Helm's Deep is going to be this grand epic battle, and how are they going to manage to get the epic sound to it without using Chance Thomas's music?
Right. Yeah, and then they also told us that there's going to be another crafting tier, which is a given.
Well, that's
There'll
already
be
in the that was announced long ago.
right, but apparently not everyone was following it as closely, so that's what happened there. There's also going to be 3 epic storybooks, which was already confirmed a while ago, but they wanted to make sure that people knew about that, and there's going to be about 12 chapters per book, which is definitely a good thing. That makes it about the size of the other expansions as far as the story goes. And then there will be more lotteries coming with expansion codes, so keep your eyes out for that for sure. The Fall of Isengard will not be part of this expansion. What do you guys think on that, actually?
Didn't we all predict that last time?
Yeah, we did. It's just interesting to have it confirmed for sure. I don't know. I'm excited to see the Fall of Isengard, but I'm glad that they think they have enough content with this expansion to keep that for a later update, or I doubt expansion, but definitely something later on. One thing they did say is players will be able to go to the burial graves, but will not witness the burial of Theodred, because apparently he was buried a long time ago, is what the dev said, and I guess we're not going to have a flashback. And epic battles are not like skirmishes, but that's the easiest thing to compare them to. They made several points throughout this talk that epic battles are definitely not skirmishes. It's just the easiest thing that they can think of to describe them. One thing they did continue to mention over and over was the words chaos and epic, referring to the battles. And so it just based on their descriptions, it just sounds like one, just beyond anything that's been done before in LOTRO. And seeing the area of Helm's Deep, if the epic battles are half as good, we're gonna have a great new system to the game. And then there's no hobbies coming with this expansion, which not that big of a surprise considering we haven't had a new hobby since the introduction of the system. So anyway, that's pretty much everything I saw. What'd you want to point out, Shurs?
So I was about to fall asleep then. I think the main thing I noticed with that whole interview, the visuals, to be specific, is the scale of the whole region. I mean, just looking at the video, seeing how long it takes to actually walk places, the whole place feels a lot bigger and wider than almost anywhere else we've been in the game. East Rohan comes close, but other than that, it's really incomparable.
I don't think it's even comparable to East Rohan. East Rohan's, at the time, it felt huge, but I think this is way above and beyond that even in the areas that we've seen.
I think partly is obviously the landscape itself, because obviously East Rohan is mostly flat, so it's kind of hard to get a feel of size when you can't really see a whole lot in front of you and around you. But here, obviously, there's giant mountains, and then there's large settlements as you'll be riding past quite often. Overall, it just feels big.
Yeah, and then another thing they did mention is that we were going to be spending a lot of time with Eowyn, which I thought was interesting. It makes sense. She's kind of the underdog hero, and so I think that our character path kind of ties in with hers. So it'll be good to tie in with her for sure.
You mean the one who's always sent on errands elsewhere when everybody else does the epic stuff?
Yeah, but luckily this time we're going to epic battles, so hopefully that'll change.
Very well. All right, in addition to this, they also released some new images concerning the story.
Yeah, the main thing that I took away from these was the glittering caves. That was our first look at the glittering caves, and I personally think they look great from that shot. And hopefully, it kind of hints at going back quite a ways. Hopefully, they will be these just massive cave structures.
Yes, that will be really a great one to see when it really comes out, and we can stand inside of it and look at it from different directions instead of just one still. Stills don't always do justice to things.
Right. One interesting image in there was the orcs, and you can see Isengard in the background. I thought that was pretty interesting. The large group of them looking very menacingly at us.
I was just
Well, seeing as that's where they all came from,
Yeah.
yes. Now, you also posted a trailer for the Legendary Upgrade Pack.
Yeah, this was a tie-in with the Hobbit movies where you could get basically it's just advertising their legendary upgrade tier um, of the expansion, and they did show orcs coming up ladders in the trailer, which is not that big of news, but it is interesting to get another little glimpse into the epic battles. The rest of it's pretty much just stuff we've already seen. One thing I do have to mention again is that this is another high quality trailer from Turbine. I have to give hats off to them. That's 2 in a row, so that's really good for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, we had a pair of Dev Diaries this week, of course. We're expecting those. They're continuing with their series on the class changes. This time they cover the Guardian and the Hunter. So therefore, we'll start with the Guardian. Anyone have any particular things they noticed for the Guardian updates?
I don't play a Guardian, so it'll have to be you guys.
Well, I don't play my Guardian all that much either. Let's see. I guess that means no one here plays a Guardian.
Yeah. Mine
There's
was way
changes
too-
coming soon. Soonish.
All right. How about the Hunter?
Hey, I know that one.
Brax department, yeah.
I can help a little. So as far as the Hunter goes, they told us a lot that we already knew, and then they told us a few little nuggets here and there too. As we knew already, there's going to be the 3 lines, which are very similar to the lines that we have today. The Bowmaster, which is the red line, the Huntsman, which is the blue line, and the Trapper of Foes, which is the yellow line. Interestingly, the most interesting one, I guess, that they described was the Trapper of Foes line, which sounds like it's getting the most number of changes out of all 3 lines.
Well, it needs it, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
it's not that fun to play. I haven't done a lot with it, but hardly anybody traits Trapper of Foes from what I can tell. So I guess, Drac, do you play Hunter too? So I don't want to take the whole thing.
No, yeah, I do.
Okay. I'll go ahead and finish up, and then I'll toss it to you.
Okay.
So the things that I noticed for the Trapper of Foes line, which was, like I said, the most different, was they're going to be able to use traps in combat, probably depending on how far you're traded into the tree. Little or no induction for trap usage. Stronger traps is something that I assumed because they talked about the traps being kind of useless now for a lot of mobs because they're immune to the root. So I'm assuming that they're going to either make the trap stronger or make the mobs less immune to roots. Ground targeting of traps, which reminded me of kind of throwing nets over the fish on the Wildermore repeatables. So I don't know if that was the tech that they were trying to develop when they came up with that repeatable or not. And they talked a little bit about buffs and debuffs occurring when you use traps in that line as well. So that would be completely new. They don't do that at all today. And as we were on the Trapper of Foes line of thought, Flossin actually sent me a link to a very cool video that I'm going to put in the show notes just for fun if you want to go check this out. It's a video. It's not a new video. It was made by a German player, LOTRO Brothers, on YouTube. And this hunter he's traded heavy and yellow, and what he's doing is he's taking on 3 elite trolls that each have about 76,000 morale, and he's using traps and stuns and fears to take these 3 guys down, and it's really interesting to watch. So his point is the yellow line really isn't so bad, but this is going to improve it even more, it sounds like. So Drac, what did you think about the dev diary?
I am really looking forward to the Huntsman, actually, with the ability to be able to fire and move at the same time. I mean, I usually trait heavy and red, so I'm looking forward to being able to check that Huntsman out and actually move and still do damage. Now, they do say it's not going to be high damage, but you're going to do a lot of, it sounds like, volley attacks, and I'm assuming it's going to be a heavy DPS probably, but not as much damage from what I gather out of the dev diary.
Yeah, I agree. I started trading Huntsman about maybe 6 months ago, and it's pretty fun now. So I'm looking forward to being able to move and shoot as well. Now, there were some complaints I heard from hunters about, well, I think the developer made a kind of a mistake in the diary talking about kiting, because hunters don't want to be kiting. And so a lot of people who play hunters today were a little nervous about that statement, but I don't know that that's what he really meant.
You know, there are some people though who do like kiting on a hunter, so I would think that those. And let's face it, if you're moving and firing, it is in a position that allows you to kite. I mean, that's one of the consequences of a line that has able to move and having a shorter range. So yes, it makes it possible. Now, whether or not you have to kite, of course, is a completely different matter.
I'm not sure why you would go blue line if you didn't intend to kite in the first place.
Right. Yes, because why would you, if you're just going to stand there, which is, then you might as well trait one of the other 2 lines.
Well, okay, maybe I have a different idea of what kiting means, but
to me,
my
kiting,
my idea was usually when they ask somebody to kite, it's run like heck and make sure you don't die.
Well, that's not what I think. What I think of kiting is being able to maintain contact and damage with an opponent without them being able to reach and hit you.
Yeah, that's what I usually imagine it to mean.
And that's something that is today I usually associate with runekeepers and minstrels.
Yeah.
Right, that's who does it in our group too. But they don't do a lot of damage while they're doing it.
Well, that's when someone is kiting in a group where because wardens are also noted for tank kiting, meaning they get someone's attention, keep their attention while everybody else is going around bashing someone else. That was something that I often did in skirmish raids. But I think this is DPS kiting, which is a bit of a different matter.
Yeah, they tend to do that a lot in the Moors, especially ones that, obviously Runekeepers being the main one, but damage over time heavy classes as well. They'll try and dot you up and then back out of range, so you can't hit them, and you'll eventually just bleed out. I imagine that's what the developer is sort of going for. Obviously with straight up front damage, not over time.
Yes. Now, back to the Guardian. Now they're going to give them 3 lines, of course. Also, of course, you have your DPS line, which your overpower type line. You'll have your tanking line. The tanking line is what used to be the threat line, because they used to have a heavy defense armor type line and a heavy taunting line. And let's face it, I always thought that strange, because why would you want to have your biggest threat when you don't have your best defense? So I always thought that was a little bit weird anyway. So they're combining those two and they're turning the third line into a something that uses they call them marks or something yeah, marking. So you're marking targets and stuff like this and it causes all sorts of strange effects. I don't know how that's going to work. I guess we'll have to wait till Helm's Deep is released or
That was their exact wording. It causes all sorts of strange effects. That's exactly from Turbine.
right. With that, we'll go into our next subject. And there is some scheduled downtime on this Monday, September 23rd, from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m., which will include both an update to the game. I presume that means 11.4. And it will also include a maintenance, which is why it's a longer than usual downtime for an update.
We still don't know exactly what this patch is meant to contain.
As far as I know, there are two things I'm pretty sure are going to be in there. One is the /follow fix, and the other is the fix for the turn-ins for the Bounder's Bounties where there's a bug that won't let you make donations after you reach the goal.
I imagine it's more the latter one. Following on horseback doesn't seem as big an issue, at least to me.
Well, to some people, it's a major problem because, for example, there's a hypo daily, which is very, very difficult to do without /follow. So.
I know the one you're on about. Yeah.
Yep.
That would. Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, we know those two things are probably going to be in it. There's probably also going to be all the updates for the fall festival. You know, the usual things for that. The next thing after that is they posted details on the Bounder's Bounty player recognition. In other words, how they're going to recognize the players who donate the most, which is why a player may want to make donations after the goal is reached because they want to be able to get on the plaque that's going to be displayed on the statue when it's finished.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting for players to have the plaque. I've loved this idea from the beginning. This is a good idea by Turbine.
Right. So they also recognize the servers, the 5 servers that finished the fastest, which I think 4 of those are German servers.
So I'm assuming this means this is a one-time event. They're not going to ever do this Bounders thing again, right?
I'm pretty sure it was intended to be a one-time event. Now, that doesn't rule out there being a similar event in the future. For example, ADSO might have some sort of thing to finish us in, or we may perhaps fix Archit or something like that, but that's an entirely different thing that may be in the future.
You really feel sorry for ADSO, don't you?
Well, yes, because he has been stuck there trying to fix that in for years. This is what happens when you're stuck in time in an MMO where time just doesn't move forward.
Pineleaf has been trying to help poor ADSO for about 3 episodes.
Yes. Well, yes.
I think ADSO pays him to mention it on the show.
Well, that's why he gives me double rewards for all the quests.
On all your new wardens, yeah.
Yes. They have finally announced the winners for the 2013 Dragon Slayer Awards, and the winner for the Best Gaming Guild and Kinship goes to the Lonely Mountain Band.
Which is, in fact, the best gaming guild or kinship out there. Not that I'm biased or anything being in the Lonely Mountain Band, but it is the best gaming/guild kinship out there.
This would be the second year in a row, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I believe that is correct.
You just want John to ship you that trophy for a couple months a year.
I would not complain. Gotta be honest.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. And speaking of John, we actually had an interview with John, the leader of the Lonely Mountain Band, and also co-founder of Middle Earth Network. He's definitely a busy guy, and it's very, very cool to see him winning an award like this. We're definitely proud of the kinship, and proud of him for starting this whole thing.
Yes. And congratulations, John and the LMB. Now for our sales for this week. This week, the free sample is a rejuvenation potion with a coupon code of RP387. I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, huh?
Yeah. Not sure whether.
I sometimes get those out of Hobbit presents.
Sometimes. Oh, God, every other present, I get one of those.
Yes, I don't know if there's anyone out there who doesn't already have plenty of rejuvenation potions. For
Maybe you could use
sale
them.
this week, yes, yes, for our sale this week we have 30% off Wardens and Runekeepers, just in case you've never played a Warden and would like to try one.
Yeah, you
The
probably shouldn't
Runekeeper
have.
you can ignore, but if you've never played the Warden, Pinewood would love it for you to create a brand new Warden.
Is there anyone in this show who plays a Runekeeper and could plug the other side?
I do. It's not the Warden, so you should go for it.
All right. Also, character slots are this way. You can have a place to put that new Warden or Runekeeper, because you'll need a new character slot for it if you're already full on your server. And if you've got this new character, you're probably wanting to do a great number of deeds, so you can also get a deed booster for your skill and Slayer deeds. 30% off for all of those items. Anyone else have anything LOTRO related within the game before we head on to players' news?
I'd just like to make sure to thank Turbine for inviting us to the press event this week. It was a lot of fun.
Yes. Alas, I was not able to make it.
I tried to message you, Pineleaf, but you were busy, off doing whatever you do during the week.
Yeah, well, yes, I know. I'm not a college student. Instead, I have to go to work, so
Yeah, I was just lucky enough to be out of class.
yes. We'll head into LOTRO Players News. We'll begin with the Fellowship Walk, and unfortunately, Mist is not here today. She is moving and out of touch with us, and we could only hope that she is going to have her internet ready soon so she could all join us in this walk that she took so much trouble to prepare for us. And the most important thing is that donations are now active.
Yes, and we already are 2% to our goal at the time of this recording, which is awesome because technically the funding for the walk doesn't even start till tomorrow. This was just to make sure that the widget worked and everything. So it's definitely great to see that that already taken place and forming up already with 2%. That's fantastic, and can't wait to see what happens tomorrow because
Right.
that's when we'll have our huge party and start
That's
getting donations.
That's when we hit 20%. In addition, we posted the list of auctions, so the auctions are not live yet. You now can see the list of all the wonderful things that we were putting up for auction. Does anyone wish to mention any particular auction that they are either watching out for or want to plug?
Yes, no one bid on the One Ring because I want it. Don't bid. No, honestly though, that is in my opinion, the best item there because Weta Workshop actually donated several things, including the a One Ring replica. and it is definitely awesome. It's definitely worth bids. Definitely start bidding for that. And I think that one actually goes up on the 22nd. The rest of them go up on the 23rd. So
Right.
be on the lookout for that. Some of the auctions are not very long, and other ones are the entire time, like the ring. So be on the lookout for times, and make sure to look at the auction list and contribute there
Right.
as well.
Now, concerning the One Ring, just remember it is not guaranteed to survive any encounters with volcanoes. So don't
And also may or may not turn you invisible.
may or may not turn you invisible. Yes, I have. The word replica means that it is not guaranteed to make you invisible or send you into the
Pine
Wraith world.
Leaf, you weren't supposed to mention that part.
Mention that. What, the Wraith world part?
Shh, it's not a replica. Be quiet.
Okay. Very well. Anyone else have anything they wish to plug in there?
Another one of the Weta ones is the Bagshot Row miniature. If you look on their website of that little miniature, it looks amazingly done.
Yes, it is awesome.
I mean, it really looks like a little tiny Bagshot Row if you look at it. So that's another one I would keep an eye on.
Now, the thing that confuses me about the Bagshot Row one is they said it was #1 Bagshot Row, and they said that's where Sam and Rosie lived, but I know, of course, in the books they live in Bag End, but I thought that in the movie they were in #3, which was the Gaffer's old house, because there was a 3 on the door at the end of the movie.
I couldn't tell you, Pine Leaf.
All right, just wondering. That was a little thing that I thought that was strange in there.
It's still an awesome Hobbit hole, though, so definitely
Well, of
be
course, it's a nice Hobbit
on the
hole.
lookout for that.
Anyone else have anything they wish to plug?
If there was, I wouldn't be saying it.
I would like to plug Pine Leaf Skirmishes because I have to say, and hopefully many of you that have watched my videos notice, that I have a ton of fun skirmishing with Pine Leaf. It is 100% worth the value. Every single time I skirmish with him, I learn something new. And the first time you learn a ton, so definitely be sure to bid on that. It is well worth the value.
Yes, and that there are 5 auctions concerning this. 4 of them are server-specific, 1 for Landrival, 1 for Laurelin, 1 for Arkenstone, and 1 for Winfola. And if you wonder why those 5 servers and those 4 servers get their on, that is because those are the 4 servers where I have level 85 characters. And therefore we'll have the option of being able to do it at high level or low level, or if we have some mutually agreed upon middle ground, we could do that also.
Awesome.
The 5th auction is for any other server, and that's for those cases where someone doesn't have a high level character on one of the other 4 servers. Then we'll go to that other server, and the idea there is so that everybody has a chance to try one. No, I wasn't going to create one auction for every single server. That would have been a little bit too much.
You could do it, I bet, though, Pine Leaf.
Yeah, better get working on that for next year, bud.
Yes, but it'd be tough in order to fulfill, was it 29 servers or something like that?
Minor details.
Minor details, yes.
We'll figure it out.
You've got enough wardens, don't you?
Well, the question is getting enough times, especially since they like to have everyone done by the end of November. And
Next year.
next year, right? We will have to see. Well, at least next year, what we could do is we could do one for epic battles instead.
Yes.
And that way we don't have to worry about level differences and the like.
That's assuming that you're the epic battles expert, Pine Leaf. Some of us want a chance to become experts too, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to hog all the titles.
Epicur of Middle Earth.
Epic battler of Middle Earth sounds a little bit more pleasing, I think.
Okay. Epic battler of Middle Earth, yes. So therefore, if you want to look into that, those are the 5 possible ones for that. Anyone else have anything they wish to plug? Then we will move on to the competitions.
Yes, and the thing I'm looking out for is the treasure hunt one, which is another Weta thing. And just to be clear, no LOTRO players, people can win contests. Past or present LOTRO players, people. But it is definitely an interesting thing because there is the map of Middle Earth that Weta gave us for this contest, and basically the person who gets the most correct guesses on the trivia for the treasure hunt gets the map at the end once the contest is over. So that's exciting. There's also several different fashion ones. There's screenshot ones. There's video ones. There's lots of contests going on.
All right. And we have one also for the poetry.
Yes.
All right. Next we have, let's see, what is this? The journey. Let's see.
That's
This
an
is
article Mist made to show the path that we'll be taking throughout the walk.
Yes. So just in case you want to know where we are going and how we're getting there.
Yep, and Lillicate and her actually worked on some. They did a good job on the maps, actually, making them look nice with some extra effects on there. So, good job to them.
All right. Now, how are you paying off that bet you had last week?
Well, I found 2 more gold in the bottom of my shoe, and
Are you sure it wasn't the shoes up
Schurz
at
never
work or
saw the
something?
money, so he technically doesn't know if I donated or not to the walk. But Mist knows. Sadly, she's not here to confirm my story tonight.
You know,
But,
Andy, there might be some folks out there that didn't listen to last week's episode. Maybe you could recap the bet for all of us.
And for my enjoyment.
So a recap. Go back and listen to last week's episode. No, me and Schurz made a $50 or 50 gold bet. Basically, he guessed the exact 24-hour period of when the pre-orders would be announced, and so I had to end up paying 50 gold. And at the time, that put me to -2 gold, which was very sad. But
Yep,
I thought it was a sure bet. What are the chances that he can guess it within 24 hours?
Apparently very good.
Well, apparently, considering the conditions last week.
There is nothing like bankrupting yourself for a good cause.
Well, you just got me to, because I already donated 100 gold to the walk, so you just got me to clean myself out. So that's probably a good thing. So.
All right. And our next item on that was we have a new episode of LOTRO Academy. And in this, we have an interview with a new player. And he asks his questions about the various items in LOTRO. So giving him an opportunity to ask any questions he wants.
Yeah, it was a good interview. It was a great episode. I enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah, you know what I liked about that episode was it kind of got LOTRO Academy back to its roots. You know, it was originally a podcast for beginners, and it was great to have somebody who was starting again on asking beginner type questions. It was kind of neat to hear that.
Yeah, and also even being interviewed about their roots. It was great to hear the origin story again of the Academy.
All right. And a role-play story that ends.
Yes, this is a new article that went up just today by Acacia, where she told a fairly personal story in her text, and then also included a song that I guess she was inspired to create to give him a good farewell, I guess. Definitely, definitely an interesting article. I recommend people check it out. I enjoyed reading through it.
Yes, when it popped up in my feed, I saw. Actually, I have a feeling I didn't see it in my feed. I think I just saw the video pop up in my YouTube channel list, and I listened to that without realizing that there was a whole article attached to it.
Yeah, she releases the videos usually. I think every video that she's released recently, she's done an article on. So usually within a day of a video coming out, she'll have an article of some kind.
All right, and the next item then is the Unexpected Vidcast, episode 11. Anyone have any comments on that episode?
Yes, things are getting more and more hectic as more people are becoming eliminated. And I think next week's the double elimination, isn't it?
Yeah, next week's the double. Why, is this something that's typical in such shows?
I have no idea, but I'm excited to see the double elimination because the female dwarf almost got eliminated if you looked at the actual scores. So I'm still rooting for her, and I hope everyone else gives her the votes she needs to stay on.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything this week. You guys can't trick me. No spoilers for me.
Yeah, we have to find out whether or not they break up two couples or if they send a couple out together.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, and Brax, what is your pick for this week?
Yeah, my LOTRO player's pick of the week is Under the Eve series by the, let me see if I can pronounce this, Nemrodilian. It's from the Tailspinner guy. I practiced that today too, and I still couldn't get it. So the Under the Eve series, I really can't say enough about how good this fan fiction series is. It is totally, totally incredible. I mean, this guy could be published. The thing that really hooks me in on his fan fiction is that his battle sequences are so believable. He's very detailed in everything he does. And this particular one he posted on the 18th, it's called A Death in the Forest, and it is the final wrap-up piece for the series Under the Eaves. I would recommend clicking on his name and going back and reading from the beginning of the Under the Eaves series, but this last one was really fantastic, and it stood out as something to me that needed to be highlighted this week. So go ahead and check out the Under the Eaves series by the Tailspinner, and you will not regret it. It is a fantastic read.
Awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and handle this next one. So this week we actually do now have sponsors. So this show was brought to you by Amazon.com. Use the widget on the side of the site on any page to help out with any purchase and help support LOTRO players, where we get a small percentage back for anything you buy off of Amazon. And they're a great dealer. Now, Brax, you actually bought something in the last couple weeks. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I call it a very expensive test. No,
yes.
My wife needed a new gaming laptop because the one she was using was not sufficient for our gaming needs. So since I was going to buy from Amazon anyway, I said, let's go ahead and try the LOTRO Players link, and we did that. And lo and behold, Andang looked and he said, hey, that worked. Now we can actually talk about it. So the experience was very easy. I know it's on the front page now, so it's even easier. I had to actually dig into a story to click on it. But all you have to do is click on the link. In the widget, there's a little Amazon logo in the bottom right-hand corner. You click on that, it'll pop up your Amazon site, just like you were going right to Amazon. And then you can search for whatever you want, or if you know what you want, go right to it, buy it. And because you've accessed Amazon through our link, LOTRO players will get a percentage of that, and we'll be very grateful.
Yeah, and the more people use the link, the more percentage we get. So definitely a good thing there. We're really glad to have a deal with them.
Yep, definitely.
And this show's also brought to you by Weta Workshop. They are very involved with the walk. They donated several things for us to auction off and give away. And if you use the code WALK13, on checkout, you get 10% off your purchase. And this code is only valid until the end of September, so make sure to use it before the end of the month to get 10% off through Weta Workshop.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble getting used to that name because I was always used to WETA standing for a public television station in the East Coast. So it took me forever before I finally figured out this had absolutely no relation to public TV. Donations this week. Please give a big thanks to Kelly for her $10 or more donation to LOTRO players. If you want to help LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page on the upper right hand of the LOTRO players site and click on donate. We have $5 and $10 mentions where if you donate $5, you could be mentioned on any single one of our podcasts. If you donate $10 or more, you can get a mention on every single of our current podcasts, which includes 6 of them, unless another one was added since the last time I talked to Andang.
It's still 6.
It's still 6. So you can join us here at LOTRO Players live every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. server time, that is Eastern U.S. You can join us by clicking live at the right top hand corner of lotroplayers.com/live. Be sure to join us in the chat room and follow the directions on that page. And of course, you could also join us for the Fellowship Walk, which is also going to be live in the special Fellowship Walk live area. There's a complete schedule available on everything you need to go in order to find. And the special events include the party at tomorrow, 2 o'clock server time on Landreville at Bag. It is at Bag End, right?
Yes.
Okay, at Bag End. I just want to make sure it wasn't in Bywater or some weird place like that. At Bag End, where we'll run to all sorts of people who are trying to get stories out of hobbits.
Yes, because it is Hobbit Day as well, and the day of Bilbo and Frodo's birthday, so definitely an exciting day to be kicking off our Fellowship Walk.
Right, so there will be people trying to extort stories out of hobbits, which I've been seeing all during the last day in LOTRO.
Right, and some of the other schedule items on Monday, the day after the party, we are actually going to, at 7 p.m., be doing our first walk. So that is very exciting. We're going to be leaving Bag End and walk to the Green Hills, and depending on how things go, we might go even farther, depending on how many donations we get between now and then. And then the next date will be Saturday, the 28th of September at 2 p.m., where we will be doing our next leg of the walk, and that continues every Saturday until the 19th. That'll be our last Saturday walk, and then on the 24th, we will be doing our final walk at 6 p.m. server time, so be sure to look out for that on that Thursday. And just a reminder that 100% of the donations go to Child's Play and help out sick children in the hospital that even if basically what it does is it provides entertainment for the kids through toys or games or something like that. And sometimes that is enough to get them healed, because sometimes their sickness they already got cured and they're just still depressed in the hospital and can't do that. Plus, if you're sick in a hospital for a really long time and you want to have something to do as a kid, and this is a great way to help keep kids all around the world entertained. So while they're sick at the hospital and they're going through so much, it's just a little bit that we can do to give back to them.
Yeah, so join us next week for our next episode of LOTRO Players News, and join us at the walk, which will be held on the Langeville server. That is all for tonight, so until next time, this is Pine Leaf Niels, and remember to skirmish responsibly.
Yes, and a big thanks to our chat room for joining us tonight. We had tons of people joining us, and a big thanks to all of them. And join us next week in the chat if you can. We'd love to continue to grow our live chat room.
and good night.